and climb the zone to get strikeouts.
First pitch of the day from Robin Herron into Dakota Kennedy, and it's in there for a strike, 0-1. So we saw a lot of the rise in the curve yesterday from Robin Herron, and that's typically what she goes to.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of run up in the zone. She also has a drop ball to keep these batters honest, but she is devastating when the changeup is on and she can change speeds.
That's low and inside to Kennedy to even the count at 1. A 2-for-2 day yesterday for Dakota Kennedy, and what she did yesterday, Rain, was just a microcosm of her whole season. Home run, single, walk, does those things all the time.
And that single that you mentioned, Noah, was a bunt single. I mean, she hit a ball 230 feet, 80 miles per hour off the bat, her second AB, and then, oh, by the way, if you play back on her, she'll drop a bunt in front of you. So many skills for Dakota Kennedy. To me, one of the most underrated players in our game.
One and two. And dating back to the final game of the regular season for Kennedy, she's been at the plate 15 times, has gotten on base 13 of those.
I think that's pretty good. I'm not sure. I'm a little new to this game, but that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, that'll work most times, I think. Full count.
And, you know, the power numbers jump off the paper at you and the speed jumps off the paper, but for Dakota Kennedy, the 41 walks on the year. That's exactly who you want at the top of this lineup. Find ways on.
Kennedy lofts it in the air and it tails out of play. We'll do the 3-2 again. Herron threw a large majority of the two regular season meetings against Arizona and locked them down. Full count. And Dakota Kennedy again works a walk.
Dakota Kennedy has been the X factor in this Arizona lineup. The power, the speed, the pitch selection, puts it on display there, gets the free pass, and then, oh, by the way, passes the bat to one of the best freshmen in the country in Reagan Shockey.
Shockey goes for the slap, fouls it off. A true freshman, but we got to talk with Shockey a couple days ago on Thursday, and the mindset that she has, it feels like she's an upperclassman.
Yeah, I was shocked leaving that conversation. One of the questions we posed to her is your decision-making. Are you going to bunt? Are you going to chop slap, power slap? And she said the situation dictates it, and she speaks with conviction.
Tried to square to bunt here, fouls it straight back. She's behind 0-2. These top three hitters for Arizona were unreal yesterday. 7 for 8, drove in 4 runs.
Yeah, and those 14 runs, I mean, half of it within the first 3 batters. But, I mean, you look at up and down this lineup, the depth of this Cat offense is not something to look away from.
Chop to short. Prigge goes on to second. They get the lead runner. I think that also, there's a lot of credit that should go to Arizona's bottom of the order, too, because when your top 3 hitters are driving in 4 runs in a game, that means the bottom of the order is getting on in front of them.
Absolutely. And the bottom of this lineup also could be the top of the lineup in many teams across the country. It just does not get easier 1 through 9. One of the best offenses in the country.
Kennedy Miller, the catcher, took that foul ball. It's in a little bit of pain getting up.
Yeah, always appreciate the gamesmanship of home plate umpire Brett Higgins walking the ball out, giving some time for the freshman catcher to catch her breath and, you know, not touch it, don't grab it, but that bruise is coming.
Great day for Carly Scoopin. 3 for 3, including a home run in the Game 1 win over Villanova last night. Local kid, grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and she said it was always her dream to be a Wildcat. She said, in fact, I wasn't going to look anywhere else until I heard Arizona say, "We don't want you." Got fooled by the off speed, but she did not go, and it was low, so it's 2-1.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this one. The body went, but it didn't look like the bat did. This is the changeup. That's going to be the X factor for Robin Herron. And to me, it looks like Skupin held up. The Razorback faithful wanted that call, but if Herron can locate that changeup against this offense, that will be huge.
Skupin cuts right through. It's 2-2. Arizona's head coach, Caitlin Lowe, jumped in right away when Skupin made that comment about, I wasn't going to look anywhere else until Arizona said, I don't want you. Caitlin Lowe said, by the way, that was never a thing. We told her in 8th grade we wanted her to come here. Three and two.
And that is nasty from Robin Herron to curveball away to Skupin right after the changeup. And what that does when you throw the changeup and then you go hard away, it just makes the fastball look that much harder. And then to get up in on the hands, that's a tough pitch to take. A nice take by Skupin.
3-2 from Herron. It's outside. 2 walks in the first 3 batters for Arizona.
And that's all plate discipline. Robin Herron not missing by much, and you go back to that check swing, that was a pretty close call. But credit Carly Skupin. I think that up and in pitch with a 2-2 count, huge take, gets the ball for him, passes the bat to Allie Skaggs.
Skaggs brought in a couple runs yesterday against Villanova, and a 14-run showing for Arizona, including 8 of them in the first inning. They jumped all over Villanova and never looked back.
And no, what was so impressive to me about Allie Skaggs' at-bats yesterday is the first 2 were infield flyouts. And she looked disappointed, but she comes back up that 3rd time through and gets on top of the ball, hitting a double down the line. Really, really nice adjustments from the senior.
Gets a piece of it here to make it 2-1. And I think with Robin Herron, too, she threw 5 2/3 innings yesterday in relief. That game didn't end until about 11 p.m. local time. Quick turnaround, and Arizona's making her throw a lot of pitches. Do you worry about fatigue at all at any point today?
It's definitely a factor, especially against this Arizona offense, and understanding it's a double elimination tournament. There's a lot of ball game left, but Noah, you and I have been debating for the past 5 days of whether or not they would start Robin Herron in this game if it got to this point, or go with Linestock. We ultimately thought, hey, start Herron. If she gets you some innings, bring in Linestock late. But to your point, filling up the counts, battling pitches, increasing that pitch count on an already tired Herron from 5 2/3 last night will be huge for this Wildcats offense.
3-2 from Herron. 3rd walk of this first inning. Morgan Linestock is already up working in the bullpen for Arkansas.
Yeah, and I think you don't want to let this
watch pitches, work counts, and work walks, which has clearly been the case in this first inning already.
Yeah, and that was another impressive piece about yesterday for this team. Villanova did not miss by much. One of the best pitching staffs in terms of limiting walks. Arizona worked counts, able to find the free pass, and it doesn't show up in the box score, but this offense so good at battling off pitches.
It's 2-0 already to Olivia DiNardo.
And now for DiNardo, you're sitting pretty. 2-0, bases loaded, pressure is on Herron. You can pick a zone, pick a pitch, and swing out of your shoes.
Dips below the knees, it's 3-0.
And in the 13 1/3 innings pitch that Robin had against this team this season, she only had 3 walks. Here in the first, already has matched that number.
That's in there, inside corner, 3-1. DiNardo still in a great spot, up 3-1. Skaggs tags one into left field. Kramer makes the catch, but the runner tags, and Arizona strikes first with Shockey coming in to score.
DiNardo gets the first barrel of the day, but perfectly positioned was Reagan Kramer. Line drive out to left, pitch out over the middle of the plate. A really nice job by Kramer to get back, get that ball in quickly, and prevent Skupin from advancing to third and limit the big inning here in the top of the first.
They still have a chance for more with Blaze Behringer at the plate. Couple runners on base, 2 outs. Hops in there to Behringer. Both runners take off. The throw is a little bit late. Both the runners advance 60 feet, and Arizona has a pair in scoring position. It's 1-2 now to Behringer. First time in a while we've seen Herron get ahead. You'd feel really good about this if you're Arkansas, having walked the bases loaded, to only give up 1 run and strand a couple in scoring position. Just misses inside. The entire infield was trotting towards the dugout. They thought they had strike 3. And so did the fans.
And this one's tight. This is a pitch that she got the call on a 3-0 count to DiNardo.
Ooh.
Arm side, looks river. That's a tight zone. That's a pitcher's pitch. To me, as a hitter, that's a ball, but a really, really nice pitch by Herron.
Right back up the middle, rolls through to center field for a base hit. Skaggs gets held at third, but Arizona tags on another run here in the first.
The pitch before could have been strike 3, but this pitch is drilled up the middle by Blaze Behringer. 1 for 2 yesterday, 1 for 1 on the day. A really, really nice job by Reagan Johnson on the other side of that plate to charge that, get that in, knowing the speed that Skaggs has. But nonetheless, Arizona strikes on for another.
Runners on the corners, and the catcher Emily Shep now up for the Cats.
And Noah, just to go back to that 2-strike ball that the Razorback faithful are going to let our home plate umpire Brett Higgins know about, she got that call against DiNardo. And so I think that is why you see the reaction from the defense.
Bounces in, runner from first takes off. The throw down is in time, and Halverson applies the tag. Did see her for a couple innings yesterday in the Game 1 win against Villanova. That was out of the bullpen. Today is the first start of the regional for her. She sits low to mid-60s, a lot of curve and rise.
Yeah, and kind of like Robin Herron, her counterpart, natural movement up in the zone. The key for her is going to be to establish both sides of the plate.
When you're sitting low to mid-60s, you don't have a ton of velocity, but because of that movement she brings, she's difficult to hit at times.
Absolutely, and the spin is there. And for these Arkansas hitters in Arizona, like, they're used to seeing 68, 69, 70. So at times, the slower can be harder at times. It depends on the batter, depends on everyone's strengths and weaknesses. But for Aisa Silva, she's not going to beat you with that velocity, so she has to beat you on the corners.
2-1 to Johnson. They get 3-1. Silva gave a look there after that pitch that I think she feels the same way Robin Herron does about the strike zone in the first inning.
Yeah, and you got to credit Brett Higgins behind the plate. Both sides. Keep it consistent on both sides. Establish that zone early. And then for these offenses, communicating what is being called, what is not being called. And especially for Robin Herron and Kennedy Miller, the battery, to tell their offense, hey, we're not getting arm side in.
Johnson slashes to the left side, and it's grabbed by the defensive player of the year in the Pac-12, Taylor Beal.
Taylor Beal makes plays like this look entirely too easy. I promise you they're not. Instincts off the bat, jams up Johnson. Really, really nice first step from the sophomore. Gets the out, and that is a huge out because Reagan Johnson and Nia Carter at the top of this lineup are the spark plug. When they go, the rest of this offense goes.
They were very similar to Arizona's top three yesterday. The top three hitters in this Arkansas lineup were fantastic against SEMO in Game 1 last night. Slowing into Carter. She's seen a couple in a row out of the zone to start the AB. Five hits for the top three hitters in Arkansas's lineup last night. Two of them came from the Iowa transfer, Nia Carter.
And when we talk to Arkansas, Morgan Linestock joined us, Bree Ellis, and of course Coach Deifel, and we talked about who's been the X factor, who's been a surprise, who's underrated. They could not stop talking about Nia Carter and what she has meant to this team.
I had actually asked the question to Bree Ellis, who is the most underrated player, who's the person that hasn't gotten enough recognition, and Morgan Linestock jumped in and took that question away from Bree and said, oh, without a question, it's Nia Carter. She does so much that doesn't get acknowledged. She fouls that one off, and it's 3-2.
And the transfer from Iowa, I mean, she batted .479 for Iowa, and you know, you always wonder, is that going to transfer to the SEC? And Nia Carter has not skipped a beat. Of course, the average is down, but her impact on this team cannot be understated.
Earns the walk here. One aboard with one out in the first for Arkansas. Well, we just saw Nia Carter. Bree Ellis comes to the plate now, the Auburn transfer.
Yeah, Bree Ellis has been such an addition to this offense, to this team. Coach Deifel says she illuminates confidence. She is the temperature for this Arkansas Razorback team.
Spent 2 years at Auburn, hit 34 home runs in those 2 years. Top 10 in Auburn history, and it only took her 2 years to get there, and it has translated over to Arkansas in her first year as a Razorback.
And her story of transferring is absolutely incredible. I mean, she felt the pressure to make the right choice, but she'd actually played Arkansas, and she shared with us that she had a conversation with her mom after that game and said something along the lines of, I want to play for a coach like her. And here she is now, loving life as a Razorback.
I think the coolest part about that was her freshman year. So she still played another year at Auburn as a sophomore, entered the portal, and as a junior committed to Courtney Deifel in Arkansas.
And what's so striking about Coach Courtney Deifel and the transfer portal is she used it a ton, but she says, I don't use it to add over top of who I believe will play. I don't choose it to over-recruit. I choose it to add and fill in spots. And she said Bree Ellis came because they thought Rylan Hedgecock wasn't coming back.
She looks at strike three. Courtney Deifel not happy about it. They thought a couple calls went against them in the top of the first.
Wow. Yeah, that I didn't even react to that because check out this one. Aisa Silva going arm side up in the zone. That's up. That's up. And you could see the reaction from Coach Deifel.
Started with a what and ended with that's terrible from Courtney Deifel.
And the first time through the lineup, obviously, the Arkansas Razorback coaching staff and the faithful are not happy, but this is data points, something they have to adjust to.
Kylie Halverson sharply grounded to third. Behringer up with it and zips it to first to end the inning.
Intelligence and smarts into her team.
Arizona had made 35 consecutive trips to the regionals. That was snapped last year when they didn't make the tournament in 2023 for the first time since 1986. But they're back in regionals, scored 14 runs last night in game one and trying to advance today to the regional final tomorrow. Emily Shep rockets one into left center field, but Reagan Johnson has a beat on it, one away. This is Taylor Beal, Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. And understandably so, because the defense is great, Rain, but at the same time, the offense gets very overlooked. She is a great offensive weapon at the bottom of the order.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked to Coach Lowe about that, and she says players like Taylor Beal and Kaya Altmaier at the bottom of this lineup have carried us in some games. There's so much depth to this offense.
Lifts it into center field. Sprinting in is Johnson, but it's Prigge, the shortstop, who makes the catch over the shoulder.
And you can see the wheels moving from Reagan Johnson coming into center field. But check out the wheels going back by Prigge. Saying ball, ball, ball. As an outfielder, a lot of times you immediately say, I'm going to get that because outfielders have priority here. Reagan Johnson wouldn't have made that play. Spencer Prigge with a really nice job. And also Johnson showing off the athleticism to slide, get out of the way of her shortstop.
Great elusiveness from Reagan Johnson. 9-hole hitter is Kaya Altmaier. Had a base hit, drove in 2 yesterday against Villanova. Slices it foul, it's 1-1. Hits in 8 of the last 10 games for Altmaier, and when you've got your 9-hole hitter in that stretch, Rain, hitting over 400, you know your offense is clicking.
Yeah, and she turns up the lineup, turns over the lineup so much for this Arizona offense. And when you can turn it over to a player like Dakota Kennedy, who has all the tools to be a leadoff, but also has the pop, it is such an advantage for Caitlin Lowe.
1-2. Robin Herron is a strike away from getting a 3-up, 3-down inning and a great bounce-back inning after the 2 runs in the first.
Yeah, absolutely. And it cannot be understated, the first inning jitters. For so many pitchers, the first inning is the most challenging to find the rhythm, and it looks like Robin Herron has found that rhythm here in the second.
Bounces into Altmaier, evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gave up just 3 hits last night, struck out 5 in 5 2/3 innings of relief. Gets the start today for the 3rd time this season against Arizona. Bouncer to the left side, it's through the hole. A 2-out base runner as Kaya Altmaier with a single to flip the order to the top.
This Arizona offense is on time. Kaya Altmaier gets a pitch, outer edge, maybe in the river, and just finds a barrel. Curveball, goes with it, 5-6 hole, and darted by the sophomore Kaya Altmaier, and then passes the bat to the power thread in Dakota Kennedy.
Kennedy was one of 3 walks in that first inning for Arizona hitters. Taps it out of play.
Out 2 for 2 with a base on balls, infield single, and oh, by the way, a ball 230 feet.
You love that versatility, don't you? You can use the power, hit a home run. You can bunt for a single with your speed. You have a great eye to earn a walk.
Yeah, and what her speed and power enables her to do is bring in the infield. I mean, you can see Hannah Gamble was playing 4 or 5 steps in front of third base, even more, respecting the infield bunt, the bunt to her, but also you can't come too close because she will shoot it right by you.
Check swing, did she go? Yes.
Robin Herron is using more down in the zone. Here is a drop ball. Dakota Kennedy says yes, 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 and by the time she says no, it's too late. Barrel crosses the front of the plate, and strike 2.
Chopped over towards first. Ellis takes it off the hop and steps on the bag herself.
Well, and I cannot think of a better person to do it.
Was the youngest player in Arkansas history to be named a first-team All-American. That came 2 years ago as a sophomore. Had a little bit of a down year last year, but was great in the postseason. Hit a couple home runs, was named to the Fayetteville All-Regional team. And crushes that one, but way foul down the left field line.
And all you need to know about Hannah Gamble and what she presents, I mean, the numbers are down, but 0 for 2 yesterday against SEMO, and then gets intentionally walked, batting .220 on the year. That tells you all you need to know about the dangerous hitter that Hannah Gamble is.
It's a whole lot of respect.
Absolutely, and you have to give it to her because she does not get cheated, and when she makes contact, she is dangerous. 12 bombs on the year, and the OPS speaks for itself.
Gamble clubs it right center field. Shockey sprinting back on the warning track, makes the grab going into the wall.
Reagan Shockey has been incredible on both sides of the ball. Hannah Gamble gets a hold of another one, this time tailing to right center field. Shockey calls it early. With Chase, Kaya Altmaier gives it up. Off the wall, running into it, the freshman makes the play.
No fear for Reagan Shockey ever.
I mean, so much range, and you look at where she hit the wall, close to the S on the Razorbacks. I mean, she covered some serious ground, and that ball was hit very hard by Hannah Gamble.
An Arkansas defense that is so good up the middle. You've got Shockey in center, but then you've also got each of the last 2 Pac-12 Defensive Players of the Year. Beal at short, Skaggs at second. Yeah,
and when you have that depth defensively, you can have one of the 3 phases of the game be not so good. And for Arizona, the story this year has been the defense and the hitting.
Check swing for Kennedy Miller. The true freshman fouls it back.
And you got to credit this Arizona pitching staff and the injuries they've battled. And knowing how to pitch as a staff, you got to credit Coach Christian Conrad, the pitching coach. He has built a culture of knowing that they need each other in the circle.
Two and two from Silva. Check swing. She went around. Strike 3.
Aisa Silva, second K on the day. This one's going to climb the ladder with the rise ball. Kennedy Miller says yes, 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 no. And then by the time she says no, it is too late. Certainly a swing. And Aisa Silva gets her second punch out of the day.
Rylan Hedgecock chops the first pitch of the at-bat into her own dugout. She was the spark yesterday. Led off the 5th inning when Arkansas was down 2-0 against SEMO. Hit a leadoff double, was the first of 9 to come to the plate for the Razorbacks. They scored 3 runs to come from behind and win. This is another foul ball.
And Hedgecock is another one of those players, an All-American last year, one of the best hitters in the country. The numbers are down. And oftentimes you think, what's wrong with Rylan? And you got to credit the pitching staffs. They're circling her name. They're coming in with a game plan. And for Arkansas, that double last night is a great sign for this team as they head down the stretch.
Pops it straight back and out of play. We'll do the 0-2 over again. Didn't Courtney Deifel almost predict that would happen? It's been a down year for Hedgecock, but when we talked with her Thursday, she felt that Hedgecock was capable of doing something like she did yesterday.
Yeah, and that's why she's continuously going to be in the lineup, because they know it's within her. And if she gets hot, man, it's going to be dangerous for the people that have to face Arkansas.
Hitting just around 220 this season after an All-American season a year ago, but Courtney Deifel said, we feel like this is her reset button. If we give her a fresh start, regular season's over, just go do your thing in the postseason. She said, I think she's capable of doing something special. And lines it right back up the middle, and it dies in front of Shockey. 2-out base hit for Rylan Hedgecock.
And all I got to say is don't let Rylan Hedgecock get hot, because right now the redshirt senior is looking blazing. This one is actually a changeup off the plate, and that just shows how well Rylan Hedgecock is seeing the ball, kills time with the legs, gets the barrel out. Hard balls up the middle. Rylan Hedgecock staying hot.
21 home runs a year ago when Hedgecock was a first-team All-American. That number's down a lot with just 4, but here in the regional, a couple hits already in the first 2 days.
And Noah, to your point, postseason is a brand new season. You can throw the records away, you can throw the rankings away. Any team, any player on any given day.
Couple in a row out of the zone to Reagan Kramer. That hits Kramer. 2 aboard. Arkansas trying to piece together a 2-out rally.
And that one hurts if you're Isis Silva in this Arizona team, understanding Kramer has been struggling as of late, bottom of the lineup.
2 quick outs to start the inning from Silva, a fly out and a strikeout, but since then a single and a hit batter to the 7 and 8 hitters. And now it's Spencer Prigge, the 9-hole hitter at the plate for the Razorbacks. A Phoenix, Arizona native, grew up not too far from Tucson, Arizona, where the University of Arizona is. Prigge lofts it out of play.
Yeah, and although Arkansas and Arizona are about 1,200 miles away from one another, Prigge, an Arizona kid, likely has played travel ball against a lot of the Wildcats. There's some familiarity on both sides.
Check swing from Prigge. Got a piece of it. 1-2 still.
Isis Silva continuously going in on left-handers. Hits Kramer, but that's what you have to do. You have to establish the inner half of the zone, especially against the lefties in this Razorbacks offense.
Swing and a miss from Prigge. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Silva. Reagan Shockey tries to slap it, 0-1. This is such an interesting day, and it's full of action, Rain, because you enter the day with 64 teams left in the country. By the end of the night tonight, we cut that in half. There's only 32 teams left going into the final day of regionals.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Noah. And for 32 teams, their season is over. And for the seniors on 32 of those teams, their career is over. And so, high emotional day for the ones who advance to Championship Sunday, but very high emotional day for the seniors who say goodbye to this sport.
Another foul ball from Shockey, stays 0-2. You get down to 32, and then you cut that in half by the end of tomorrow. Again, down to 16 teams that advance to the Super Regionals next week. Best 2 out of 3 at Supers. 8 teams advance to Oklahoma City to play for a Women's College World Series. Shockey's way out in front. She's not fooled often, but she was there by Heron.
And Noah, we talked about the X factor for Robin Heron, and it's been the changeup. Keeping these hitters off balance, perfectly executed changeup on the outer half. Reagan Shockey fooled, tries to get the barrel out and battle it off, unable to do so. Robin Heron with the punch out of the freshman.
3-hit day yesterday for Scoopin. She walked and scored her first time up today, but she falls behind 0-1 against Heron, who's done a great job since that first inning. Rain attacking the strike zone. She's getting ahead of a lot of batters the last couple innings.
Yeah, and what's interesting, Noah, is when you watch the games that Robin Heron faced Arizona in February. Teams change, of course, but she worked a ton of high speed up in the zone. Now we're seeing the changeup really early in counts. We're seeing her work that drop ball, and then when she slows you down, she'll speed you up with the curveball on the outside edge.
Are you surprised by that at all? Because she is very much a rise ball and curveball pitcher, and we've seen a lot of the change in the drop ball today.
No, not really, only because I know how effective Coach Deifel is as a pitch caller, and understanding your 3rd time through, your 4th time through, your 5th time through, you have to change up the game plan. And I think when you look at that first inning and the 3 walks, Robin Herron has her best command with the curveball and the stuff up in the zone, was trying to work the drop ball more and more, was not getting those calls, and so you see the base on balls. Now she's dialed in the drop ball, dialed in the changeup, and we can see she's really settled in nicely.
Scoop and holds off, just misses, 2-2. So you think it's a lot more just about making an adjustment and trying to give Arizona hitters something new to see because they've seen her so many times this year?
Absolutely, and I know Arizona went and looked at the video and saw how Robin Herron had success because she had a lot of it. And so they're thinking, I'm going to get a lot of up, I'm going to get a lot of hard, and it's been somewhat of the opposite with the mix in of the curve and the rise.
Scooping with a swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the inning for Robin Herron.
Robin Herron is feeling it. This pitch, curveball up and away, that's her bread and butter. But what makes that so effective is the fact that Carly Scoopin is trying to battle against the drop ball in on her hands, battle against the changeup, and be on time for all 3 of those pitches. Robin Herron gets the second punch out of the day.
Now faces Allie Skaggs, one of 3 for Arizona to be named first team All Pac-12 this year. Phenomenal two-way player, was the Gold Glove winner at second base last year, did not make a single error. And also hitting above 300 with a team-high 13 home runs this season. She can do it all. Laces it into right center field, a diving attempt by Carter. Wow! And she bunts for hits, slaps for hits. Courtney Deifel said that from the left field line to the right field line, the entire outfield, if you put Reagan Johnson in center field, she can cover 60% of the outfield by herself. That is incredible.
I know we'll never see it, but I would love to see a game where Reagan Johnson is the only person in center field and just see how many plays she makes.
First strike. Or no, they say inside corner. I thought he called it a strike. It's 3-0.
And another aspect of Reagan Johnson is this is exactly who you want up to the bat right now. Down 2, bottom of the 3rd, your leadoff batter.
Well, because it's not just her, right? But then you got Nia Carter, Bree Ellis, Kylie Halverson, Hannah Gamble. I mean, this is a gauntlet at the part of this Arkansas lineup.
Yeah, and when players like Reagan Johnson and Nia Carter get on, anything in the grass, you can consider it done. They will use the wheels, and it's, to me, it's a 2-base minimum with Reagan Johnson and a base hit.
Three-two from Silva. Ball 4. Advances to the regional final tomorrow. The loser has to come back and play one more game tonight against the winner of our next game coming up, an elimination game between Villanova and SEMO. Carter pops it up, grabbed by Scoopin. 1 down.
Arizona's defense showing off again. Carly Scoopin has grown so much as a senior, reads it off the bat, and anytime you pop up a bunt, you can feel the energy kind of leave from the dugout. You could see Nia Carter didn't even watch Carly Scoopin catch that, walk back to the dugout, but you still got to deal with Bree Ellis.
The Arkansas power bat, Bree Ellis. As the freshman of the year at Auburn 2 years ago, top 10 finalist for freshman of the year in the country. Had a 20 home run season as a true freshman.
Yeah, and after her first at-bat where she got rung up on a pitch that I think a lot of folks thought was a ball, I mean, she's going to be coming for vengeance. That's just the type of player that Bree Ellis is.
Reaches after this one, fouls it straight back, 1-2.
And we talked a lot about Robin Herron and how much the Arizona Wildcats offense has seen her. But how about Aisa Silva? Now 10-plus innings pitched, has yet to give up an earned run to this Arkansas Razorback team. So got to credit the sophomore on the other side of things as well.
Looped out of play. We will see another 1-2. It's an Arizona pitching staff that does it by committee too, Rain. They don't necessarily have a true ace, but along to your point, Aisa Silva has acted like that ace, especially against Arkansas this year.
Yeah, she stepped up and only a sophomore, but growing by pitch by pitch.
It's a really good battle by Ellis. Might have been out of the zone, but gets a piece of it.
And Noah, when you lose a player like Devin Netz, who not only can pitch for you, but can hit for you, it leaves you thin. And so Aisa Silva has had to step up. I mean, this team has battled so much adversity in the pitching circle, and to see them where they are now is so impressive.
Pulled down the line, foul by Ellis. What a fight she's putting together. Not only Devin Netz, but 3 pitchers that were expected to throw this year for Arizona have been injured, and a couple position players as well. As they've had to fight through some injury adversity. Yeah,
and a lot of teams throughout the country deal with some injuries, but to have 3 pitchers unavailable for the entire season, just killer for Coach Caitlin Lowe. But, I mean, hats off to the pitching coach, Christian Conrad, and his ability to build this program, build this staff into a staff. They know that they need each other. They will pass the ball off to each other. And for pitchers, a lot of times there's ego. There is no ego in the Wildcats bullpen.
Ellis smashes it back up the middle. That's a base hit. Johnson stays put at second. There's a couple runners on base now for Arkansas.
Bree Ellis has grown so much from her freshman year to now. Now covers all parts of the zone. This is an off speed that catches too much of the white. Bree Ellis kills time with her legs and really solid compact swing up the middle. And you could see the reaction, firing up her dugout, firing up the Razorback faithful here as the Backs have something cooking here in the third. Thing for Brooke Mannix is limit the walks, but also against UCLA in the Pac-12 tournament, they were calling out that changeup. Something about her grip identified it. We'll see if Arkansas can do the same, which will be a key factor in Brooke Mannix's outing.
She has the most velocity of any Arizona pitcher, can touch 70. First pitch to Kylie Halverson is skied out of play.
It's an interesting decision to take Silva out. Of course, this Arkansas lineup has seen her now a number of times. They have not seen Brooke Mannon, the freshman. And so I think that is an X factor. Despite the outing she had yesterday, did not get an out, gave up 3 walks, but another opportunity to the freshman to get some experience.
Chopped foul by Halverson. It's 0-2. They also have Miranda Stoddard, too, who started yesterday for Arizona through 3 innings, did not give up a run, only 1 hit.
And Silva's day might not be done.
Right.
She still potentially could come back, which she did actually against Arkansas in Game 1 in February. We'll keep an eye on that.
Halverson lifts it high into left center field. Shockey charging in. 2 outs.
That's a really well-executed pitch by Brooke Mannon to get Halverson on her front side. And then a really, really nice job by Reagan Shockey to call off Dakota Kennedy. Her momentum taking her towards third base. That way, if Johnson were to try to tag up, Shockey's in a perfect position to throw her out. Really nice job again by this Arizona defense.
And it feels like any ball that's in the outfield is potentially deep enough for Reagan Johnson to tag with the speed she has. Gamble way out in front of that changeup.
Yeah, that's the pitch. That's the pitch for Brooke Mannon, because if she can establish that, then Arkansas has to try to be on time for that 70-mile-per-hour fastball and the changeup. Very, very difficult to do.
Fly out to center field the first time up for Gamble. She faces an 0-2 count against Brooke Mann, the freshman who inherited 2 runners on, only 1 out, has a chance to get out of the inning without allowing either of those runs to score. Oh, 2. In on the hands, popped up foul.
You can see Gamble just trying to battle that one up and in at 68, 69 miles per hour. So difficult to get your barrel around. And now Brooke Mann in 0-2 count can go with a chase pitch in the dirt with the changeup or climb the ladder and go out of the zone with the hard stuff.
What would you do?
I'd go chase in the dirt with a changeup.
She does go low. Check swing, did not go. 1-2.
That's a really nice take by Gamble. Wasn't even near the plate, so not as much of a purpose pitch as you'd like to see from Brooke Mann, but you can deal with that, especially in an 0-2 count. Mann still sitting in the driver's seat.
Gamble cuts right through it. The freshman comes in on the road in the regionals, but has really locked down this Arizona lineup since then. Olivia DiNardo to start off the inning. Sacrifice fly, her first time up to bring in one of those 2 runs in the first. And cuts right after the first pitch to fall behind 0-1.
Yeah, and the swing and miss heat map, and we've talked about her ability to work up in the zone, and that red that you see is the concentrated amount of swing and misses. So the more red, the more swing and misses she gets at a particular part of the zone. But what we've seen today is her work in the drop ball. And so those blue spots at the bottom, she doesn't get a ton of swing and misses on the drop ball, but what that does is it enables the swing and misses on the up because you can't battle both, or it's really hard to as a hitter.
Skied into left field. Will it stay in play for Gamble at third? Yes, it will.
Really nice job by Hannah Gamble, and it's key here for the catcher to find the zone, or find the wall and talk to your defense. Gamble hears Miller say you got room, makes the catch on the wall, gets the critical first out of the inning.
Blaze Behringer at the plate, RBI single back in the first. I want to go back to that Heron thing real quick with the swing and miss stuff up in the zone. That's effective against Arizona because they struggle against the rise ball more than they do any other pitch.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They struggle with the up. They're a better drop ball hitting team. But when you have to defend both of those, the average goes down. You have to sit aside, and when Robin Heron gets ahead, especially with the off speed, and gets in these high leverage counts, 1-2, 0-2, this Arizona offense has to battle off both of those pitches. The ones up in the zone have much more movement and has been key for Robin Heron.
1-2, that's drilled into center field. Long run for Johnson back near the warning track. Bobbles and she crashes off the wall. Behringer rounds 2, she wants 3, and she's in there.
When your 6-hole is swinging like this, you know you got something working. 1-2 count, drives this ball. Johnson was playing relatively shallow and almost made this incredible play. Glad she's okay, got up quickly, but Blaze Behringer has been hot this weekend, finding barrels. And how about the effort from Reagan Johnson, almost with the incredible catch.
But it's an opportunity for Arizona to add on a couple more runs about halfway through this game. Emily Shep, true freshman who's really stepped into that catcher role this year and made it her own. chopped over towards short. Prigge eyes the runner at third, throws to first. That is a really crucial second out that keeps the runner planted at third.
And that's a very well-executed pitch on a 2-0 count. We talked about Robin Herron working up in the zone effectively, but you're throwing drop balls here to induce a ground ball, to keep the runner in Behringer at third base. Spencer Prigge reads it perfectly, charges it, throw on the run, and keeps Behringer at third. A critical play and a nice pitch by Robin Herron. And
first pitch dips low to Beal.
Yeah, and Noah, just to reiterate too, the situation also dictates the pitches that you're going to throw if you're Robin Herron. There, you're not going to go up because you don't want to induce a sac fly in the outfield. You want to induce a ground ball.
Laced right at Ellis, who leaps and snags it. Bree Ellis just saved a run. Coach Caitlin Lowe joins us. Coach, what went into that decision last inning to bring out Silva and to replace her with the freshman Brooke Mannon in the circle?
Just wanted a different look for those righties, and she did her job. She did a great job getting the pop-up and the strikeout to end it.
And Coach, cat and mouse game early. You all had a ton of barrels off of Robin Herron, but they've kind of changed their approach. What approaches do you need to change as an offense to get on time?
Just hitting her stuff in the zone. She's a very good pitcher. She has a lot of tools. So just making sure we narrow in on our plan and kind of ignore the distractions and hunt our zone.
Coach, always appreciate the time. Good luck the rest of the weekend.
Appreciate it. Bear down.
Caitlin Lowe's Arizona Wildcats on top 2-0. Bottom 4 in Fayetteville. Day 2 of the Fayetteville Regional. Winner into the regional final tomorrow. Loser plays the winner of Villanova or SEMO later tonight around 8 o'clock Eastern. True freshman Kennedy Miller, the catcher, to lead things off for Arkansas. Miller drew a bases-loaded walk yesterday in the 5th inning, proved to be the game-winning run in a 3-2 win over SEMO. She's way behind this one, 0-2.
And how about the bounce back from the freshman coming from yesterday? We talked about it, did not get an out, gave up 3 walks, walked in a run, and to come back at 2 critical outs last inning and then to fill up the zone here, so impressive from Brooke Mannon.
And not only get 2 outs, but she inherited runners on first and second with only 1 out. You get a pop-up that's shallow in the outfield and a strikeout to end the inning. 2 big outs to keep this game 2-0. One-two for Mannon. Rolled foul. We'll do it one more time. Miller's had a great year, hitting just under 350 as a true freshman. Courtney Deifel said, I don't like to say good season for a freshman. I like to treat everybody equally, and she has had a remarkable season, not just for a freshman, but for anybody. One more foul ball towards the Arizona dugout.
And yeah, going back to that bases-loaded walk last night, I mean, a huge at-bat. As a freshman, you can want to be the one to hit a double in the gap, and that's how you score. But the patience, and there were pitches all around the zone, just missing. Kennedy Miller had the patience, 3-2 count, drew the walk, and got the RBI. Was such a huge moment for her team.
Strike 3 inside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Mannon.
Have a day, Brooke Mannon. Works the changeup all throughout the count and then fires a fastball inside edge, paints the black, and freezes up the freshman Kennedy Miller. Didn't like the call, but that is a pitcher's pitch and a really, really nicely executed one by Brooke Mannon.
It's Rylan Hedgecock to the plate now, who's possibly starting to take off at the right time after a slow season. Double yesterday in the 5th inning to spark a 3-run inning to come from behind and win. Has one of 2 Arkansas hits today. Came back in the 2nd inning.
So something new this year in college softball is that action clock, the pitch clock, will go from 25 to 20 seconds. The Arkansas faithful want a pitch clock violation, which would cause a ball on the batter. Our home plate umpire signaled that it looked like Rylan Hedgecock called time, which is why you're seeing the Arkansas coaching staff come out and have a conversation and question that. Because if no one called time there, I think that was pretty close to a 20-second violation. And we'll take a look here at Rylan Hedgecock. Calls time. Home plate umpire does not grant it right away, but then eventually does call time.
Maybe she verbally tried again, but she didn't signal with the hand time again. He took a while, didn't originally grant it, like you said.
And I think that's and ultimately that is the correct call, because you cannot grant time to the batter. 20 seconds ran out, 1-1 the count it is.
Hedgecock's out in front, 1-2. Here comes the 1-2 from Mannon. Muscled, right back to the pitcher. Mannon out of the circle for the grab. Tomorrow, Sunday Night Baseball takes us to Atlanta for the third of a 4-game series between Fernando Tatis Jr. and the Padres and Marcell Ozuna and the Braves. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio, with our coverage beginning at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific with Baseball Tonight Sunday Night Countdown. And now Arizona will take a visit in this 4th inning. Reagan Kramer was hit by a pitch her first time up. Going through quite a lengthy slump right now. 0 for her last 19 over the course of the past 9 games. But somebody you need in that lineup, because she is a great left fielder defensively. And throughout her career, she's been really good at the plate, too. You're talking about somebody that was on the Fayetteville All-Regional team last year. 7 hits over the course of 3 days in the regional for Arkansas. So she's played through moments like this.
Yeah, and we alluded to this before, Noah, but you can throw the averages out the window. Postseason is a completely different game. And it doesn't matter who is hitting the best. It matters if your team wins, if your team advances.
3 balls and a strike now to Kramer.
And although Kramer has been struggling as of late, the average is down. You got to credit her for the pitch selection, the plate awareness. I mean, drew the hit by pitch in the 2nd inning here, battles again to get in the high leverage count.
Bounces this foul straight behind her. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Did not go. Kramer earns the walk. A hit by pitch and now a walk to the 8-hole hitter for Arkansas.
Manning goes back to the off speed. Kramer, yes, 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 no, holds up in time. And no, I don't know if you heard it, but I heard sit coming from the Arkansas dugout, and that is them picking the changeup of Manning, which would be huge here late in this game.
Preggy launches it to right field. This is Altmaier in front of the warning track to end the inning.
Across the board.
We had a dominant win for Arizona, 14-3 over Villanova here in Fayetteville yesterday, and then it was a come-from-behind win for Arkansas. 3 runs in the 5th to take down SEMO 3-2. Kaya Altmaier, the 9-hole hitter for Arizona, starts things in the top of the 5th. And how good has she been recently? Hits in 9 of the last 11 games, hitting nearly 450 in that 11-game stretch.
Yeah, she could be a leadoff anywhere else in the country. If you don't have players like Dakota Kennedy and Reagan Shockey at the top, then Kaya Altmaier would almost be certainly at the top of this lineup, but just such a privilege. An embarrassment of riches for Caitlin Lowe to have a player like Kaya Altmaier at the bottom to turn over the lineup and pass the bat to Dakota Kennedy.
Wraps it over to first off the glove of Ellis. And Altmaier's on for the second time today.
And no, when you hit the ball hard, good things happen. And Kaya Altmaier has hit the ball hard all day long. This ball ripped by the glove of Bri Ellis. And another aspect of that hit is Kaya Altmaier also holds the keys to the bunt. And so Bri Ellis a little bit in front of the bag, not playing back. Line drive drilled right by her.
Flips the order to the top now with Dakota Kennedy. I want to go back to what you said about she would be a leadoff hitter in a lot of other teams across the country, but nowadays that's how you treat a 9-hole hitter, right? They are a secondary leadoff hitter now?
Absolutely, especially with how the game has shifted to putting your highest on-base percentage at the top of the lineup. Dakota Kennedy does both.
That gets past Miller, the freshman catcher. It allows Altmaier to advance 60 feet into scoring position.
But to go back to that, Noah, Dakota Kennedy has both, right? She's got speed, she's got the ability to get on base, draws walks, has power. But we've seen kind of a shift in lineups in that 2-hole has now been a heavy, heavy power roll. You just want the top to have more ABs.
Kennedy squared around a bunt, pulled it back at the last second, takes a strike.
Technical difficulties, but we'll keep an eye on that. But either way, we're in a big spot in this game. 2-1 count to Dakota Kennedy.
And nobody out with a runner in scoring position. Arizona trying to add on to a 2-run lead. Kennedy bunts it foul. She's got 2 strikes against her now.
And when you look at the speed up and down this Arizona lineup and you see how many sack bunts they have, it's actually not that many. I mean, sack bunt percentage is 60th in the field out of 64 teams, but when they do put that ball down, man, they can use the wheels.
Chopped over towards first. Ellis takes care of this one easily this time. Does advance the runner up to third.
Yeah, and it goes down in the scorebook as a ground out, but you can see the Arizona dugout knowing how important that was. Whether you get the bunt down or not is a matter of do you do your job. Dakota Kennedy rolls one over to the right side, does the job, gets the runner over to third with less than 2 outs.
And the entire infield is way in for Arkansas now against Reagan Shockey.
And when we talked to Reagan Shockey about her decision-making, whether to bunt, whether to chop slap, she said it's a group process. She talks to Caitlin Lowe. She talks to hitting coach Josh Bloomer. And so that decision has been made as she steps up to the plate.
She chops it to short. Prigge comes home to Miller, the tag. Not in time! Shockey takes off for second, and she's gunned down.
Yeah, this one's going to get reviewed. Courtney Deifel came out very quickly, and I think this has a chance, Noah, to be a double play, just based on in real time.
This is big.
This is huge.
You couldn't hear him, but you can sure see the call. Double play, ends the inning, keeps it at 2-0. The Arkansas head coach joins us. Coach, same exact situation as yesterday. Down 2-0 going to the 5th. You guys get 3 runs. How can your offense do it again today?
Just digging in one at a time and finding a way to pass the bat.
And Coach, Arizona obviously found some barrels early. Has Robin shifted the game plan, or has she settled in?
They actually really haven't found barrels early. In that first inning, I think they got 1 hit. So I think she's doing a really good job of keeping them off balance. Our defense is playing great. So we just got to stay the course and chip away and try to get on the board.
Coach, always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. We pick.
Well, we go bottom 5 in a 1-0 game in the Fayetteville Regional, with the winner going to the regional final tomorrow, the loser falling to the loser's bracket and playing in an elimination game later tonight around 8 o'clock Eastern. Spot of the order you want if you're Arkansas, though, to start things off, down 2-0 late in the game. Top of the order with Reagan Johnson at the plate. Been on base once with a walk today. That is slashed foul left side, just a few feet away from potentially being extra bases. Entered the 5th inning yesterday, down 2-0. It was the only time all season long when trailing after 4 that Arkansas had come back to win. Can they do it, 18 hours later now too, Rain?
I mean, this is who you want up for it, right? This is the part of the lineup that has been the spark plug all year long for this Razorbacks offense.
That's a strike, 1-2. Brooke Mannon, who came in yesterday, walked 3 batters, did not record an out, got charged for 3 runs. Came in the 3rd today and has been fantastic. She's retired 5 of the 6 she's seen since coming in the 3rd. The only person to reach was Reagan Kramer with a walk last inning. 2-2. Johnson, high chopper up the middle, fielded by Beal, on to first. She's the Defensive Player of the Year in the Pac-12 for a reason.
Reagan Johnson using the ground, but Taylor Beal instincts the jump, and look at the transition. So quick, gets rid of it quickly, strong arm over. Huge, huge out in this game as we get into later innings, and Taylor Beal showing off why she's one of the best in the country at shortstop.
Playing it off the short hop too and the quick transition. You don't really have a whole lot of time when you're trying to get Johnson out at first, but Beal did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and the speed puts pressure on you, and a lot of times it's the transition where you try to move too quickly, you end up bobbling it, understanding the speed of Johnson. Taylor Beal plays it perfectly and gets Johnson out.
Nia Carter offered a little bit late at the fastball. It's 0-2. Two-hit day yesterday, including driving in the game-tying run as a part of that 3-run 5th. 4-year player at Iowa, was an All-American last year, and her game has translated very well to the SEC. Bounced, again Beal, this time sits back on it, 2 away.
And again, Taylor Beal understanding the speed and the direction of the ball, whether to give ground or to gain ground. Giving ground meaning backing up, playing it off the long hop, or gaining ground, playing it on the short hop. Taylor Beal gives ground there, gets the out, but you still got to deal with Bree Ellis.
She's got one of just 2 hits today for Arkansas. Didn't go on the check swing, 1-0. Courtney Deifel brought in Bree Ellis out of the transfer portal because she thought Rylan Hedgecock was leaving. Hedgecock elected to use her 5th year of eligibility due to the COVID year. Both have been power bats in the lineup this year for the Razorbacks. She said, "We signed Ellis before we knew Hedgecock was coming back, but when Rylan told me she wanted to come back for a 5th year, you sign up for Rylan Hedgecock any chance you can get." Ellis clubs it left field, and it just tails foul.
And Coach Deifel said, look, I don't try to recruit transfers over top of who I have, but I imagine when she found out that she's going to get Rylan Hedgecock back, Bree Ellis back, they're going to find spots in the lineup, no problems.
Makes your job a little easier or a little harder, depending on how you look at it, making sure you got enough spots to get everybody in the lineup.
And what has enabled that, too, is Kylie Halverson moving from first base to second base. That is something you do not see a first baseman be able to play in the 4 spot, and she has done it incredibly well and opened up that first base position for Bree Ellis.
2-2 to Ellis. That's a great point. Kylie Halverson, 3-year player at South Dakota State, was Summit League Player of the Year. Came to Arkansas last year, started all 59 games at first base, but when Ellis comes in, Courtney Deifel asked her to move over to second, and Coach said not only did she do that willingly, she's become an elite second baseman. Payoff pitch. That is skied high in the air, shallow left field. Kennedy has plenty of room. Headed to the 6th inning here in Fayetteville. Arkansas scored both of this game's runs in the top of the first. Since then, a whole lot of zeros have been thrown up by both teams. Heart of the order for Arizona. Carly Scoopin, who had a 3-hit day yesterday, including a home run, goes after the first pitch and lofts it into shallow left center field for Kramer. 1 pitch, 1 out. We mentioned those 2 runs in the first inning, Rain. Since then, no runs, only 2 hits allowed by Robin Herron, and the big number, the walks.
Yeah, she settled in, and early on for a lot of pitchers, that first inning, there's jitters there. It's difficult to find a rhythm, and she has certainly found the rhythm. And to do it, and now this is her 289th pitch against Arizona this year.
Wow.
And to have this type of success through and through just speaks to the stuff that Herron has and the command that she has in the circle.
There was only that 1 hit in the first inning, but because of the 3 walks, load the bases up. Blaze Behringer came through with an RBI single. There was also a sacrifice fly thrown in there for both of the runs. Skaggs slices it out of play.
But although the first inning was when they broke through and scored those runs, the first time through, even the second inning and parts of the third inning, they were on time. But since that third inning, late in that third inning on, Robin Herron has been lights out against this Arizona offense.
Skied into right center field. Carter calls for it. 2 down. And then when you date back to what she did just last night, we're talking 16, 18 hours ago, Robin Herron came in relief, 5 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts. She has been so good in the first 2 days of the regional.
Yeah, and she's been at her best when the lights are brightest and the stage is biggest. And the question marks coming into the season for Arkansas, who's going to step up in the circle? Robin Herron had an answer for the critics.
Well, you asked her that last night in the postgame about, a lot of people said, well, the offense is going to be good, but what about Arkansas's pitching? I don't know if they can match up to a lot of people. And Robin Herron was very blunt in her answer, said, it made us mad. We had a chip on our shoulder, and we acted like it this year.
And I think it goes back to how good of a pitching coach Courtney Deifel is. And we talked about how she grew that skill set. She was a catcher. She grew up pitching, ultimately went to catching, so she understands both sides of the ball. She instills confidence in her bullpen, and you can see it in how they play every day.
Chopped foul, 2 balls and a strike now to Olivia DiNardo. And I would imagine for Courtney Deifel it would help, too, that her sister was a 4-time All-American pitcher at Fresno State. So if there's somebody you can lean on in terms of pitching, that's a pretty good person to have.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. You can tell there are solid athletes in the Deifel family. And her sister, one of the very best of all time in the circle.
DiNardo gets just a piece of this one.
And for Arizona, they've been really quiet since early in this game. Robin Herron has mixed in the drop and changeup effectively and then got the swing and misses up. They've got to find their outs on the ground, hard ground balls through the middle.
Drills that into left center field. Kramer sprinting back on the track. It is a 3-up, 3-down inning. Arkansas has to get the bats going. Down to
This team respects her. Her perspective is so valuable, and in combination with DJ Gasso, the hitting coach, they have been very, very solid this year.
Arkansas needs a rally here in the 6th. They got one yesterday, down 2-0, a 3-run fifth to come from behind and win their first game of the regional. Now down 2 against Arizona with a spot in the regional final on the line. 2 balls and no strikes. Now to the cleanup hitter, Kylie Halverson. The freshman Brooke Mannon entered in the game in the 3rd inning with only 1 out, couple runners on base, stranded both of them, and then has not faced any trouble since then. Halverson elevates it, stays in the infield, and Beal, the shortstop, calls off everybody.
And that's a tough one. The way that Kylie Halverson has been hitting late in the season, you get a 2-0 count, you can sit a zone, and you can sell out for that pitch. She sold out a little too much, got under it, infield fly ball, easy out. And a huge out for Brooke Mann in this Arizona defense when you have to face a hitter like Hannah Gamble next.
Just 2 hits so far today for Arkansas, a pair of singles. Gamble crushes it, but it's towering foul. Would have been her 13th home run of the season, but it's a little foul.
Watching her hit BP on Thursday, you got to keep your head on a swivel. In fact, I parked my rental car in the first row of the parking lot. I watched Hannah hit. I immediately went back to my car, drove it to the very back of the parking lot behind Bogle Park. I mean, the power that Hannah Gamble punches is insane.
It's a smart move by you.
Yeah, where'd you park yours? Next to mine, right?
Oh, yeah, next to you. I'm not as smart as you, but I just follow your lead. The player that Courtney Deifel called the face of the program, everybody's favorite player, local Arkansas kid, Hannah Gamble. Rips it foul. A ball and 2 strikes.
And we're getting late into this one, but I continue to hear from the Arkansas dugout sit. If they can identify the changeup a little bit earlier and give their hitters an idea of when it's coming, that is going to be huge here in this inning and in the 7th inning as well.
Is it something in the delivery they're seeing?
It's either with the grip or the delivery. You know, we were talking during the break about what the grip is, and when I was watching that UCLA-Arizona matchup when they were calling it every single time, I could not pick it up. Of course, standing in the booth and watching on TV is a very different look than the third base dugout. They have a great look at her right hand, so they might be seeing something with the grip, and that's who's yelling out sit.
Gamble fouls it straight back, stays alive at 2-2.
But Noah, the danger is if you get it wrong. If you get it wrong and your offense is confident in hearing that sit, she'll throw 70 miles per hour right by you. So
Yeah,
you got to be careful, and you have to be sure it's the changeup.
Just a true freshman, but the most velocity on this Arizona pitching staff. Has a lethal changeup, though, as well. 2-2. Called strike 3.
And Noah, whether you know it's coming or not, it's still lethal. It's still dangerous. Brooke Mannon pulls the string and freezes up Hannah Gamble. The freshman has come in and slammed the door shut on this Razorbacks offense, her 2nd punch out of the day.
The difference 24 hours can make.
And how about the confidence from head coach Caitlin Lowe and Christian Conrad, the pitching coach, to put the freshman back out there in an even bigger moment? I mean, she came in when they had a hefty lead against Villanova. This is no hefty lead, and this is a dangerous offense in the Razorback dugout.
It's a freshman versus freshman battle right now. Mannon in the circle, Kennedy Miller at the plate, who struck out each of her first 2 times to the plate today. Miller. Again would have left the yard, but it's foul.
And as a pitcher, that's exactly what you want. You want the looping foul ball so far in or so slow that they cannot keep the ball fair. It's a strike for you. And for the batter, you take that as a piece of confidence. Like, I'm on time, I'm going to barrel it. I just got to be let the ball get a little bit deeper.
The heat stays upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Brookman doing a really nice job of changing eye levels, going up with the heat and then going down with the off speed.
Change up here, you think?
I think so. Something in the dirt.
Bounce to second. Skaggs to first. A second straight 3 up, 3 down inning, and Arizona is 3 out. Seed Arkansas, who's hosting a regional for the 4th consecutive season. Blaze Behringer has a great day today. Chops right to Ellis on the first pitch. That's the first time she's been retired.
And that's a big out. Right now, you want a quick inning and get your team back in the dugout, understanding the bottom of the 7th. 1 shot left to tack away at this lead. And for Arizona, if you can push one insurance run, that would be huge heading into the 7th.
Arkansas rallied yesterday from down 2-0 to win the game 3-2. First pitch strike into Emily Shep, the freshman catcher. Flown out once, grounded out once. Loops it up right side over towards the dugout, and it just skates out of play. This is not all that common territory for Arizona. They almost always host a regional. But a couple years ago, they did go on the road to Missouri, win the regional, win a super regional, and get all the way to the Women's College World Series. Way out in front. Strike 3.
Here in the 7th, Robin Heron is looked sharp as ever. Here is the off speed again. Started off the AB with the changeup, goes right back to it. And it's hard to catch up to both. Emily Shep strikes out, and Robin Heron is looking at her best here late in this game.
Again, the off speed has Beal chasing in front.
And if you just wipe away that first inning, you know, and of course you can't, but those 3 walks, so uncharacteristic for Robin Heron, but since then she has just settled in and been lights out.
You stole the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking the same thing. 3 walks in the first inning. Both runs came in that inning. Since then, Robin Heron has been flawless, but so has Arizona's pitching today, clearly. Beal chases in front. Drop third strike, the throw down to first. That is a quick 3 up, 3 down. Yesterday, doubled in the biggest moment of the game. Today, she's got 1 of the 2 hits for Arkansas, and she's trying to spark a rally in the 7th with the Razorbacks down to their final 3 outs.
No, what an unexpected way this game has played out. I mean, Arkansas only been shut out twice this entire season. The Arizona offense has been stellar, but they've been shut down by Robin Heron. It's truly been a pitcher's duel through and through.
Hedgecock launches left field, no doubt. One-run game.
It's a Hedgecock homer. Rylan Hedgecock, deja vu, but even better, Noah. This pitch, middle in, driven out to left field. Razorbacks are within 1, and the All-American from a year ago has pressed the reset button hard and has been clutch late for the Razorbacks.
That was the first hit that Brooke Mannon had given up today. She retired 11 of the 12 batters she faced. The only base runner she had allowed was a walk.
And what a response from Arkansas. And what a job by Brooke Mannon. To come from yesterday, and we've talked about this, but to not get an out and then to come back and battle the way she did. She pitched her tail off, and you got to credit Rylan Hedgecock. That pitch was missed over the middle, and Hedgecock made her pay. Brooke Mannon on the day, 3 2/3, 1 hit, 1 earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts for the freshman, and she's not pouting. That is a sign of a good team. Aisa Silva goes back in the circle, and she has her hands full with the bottom of this lineup.
Brooke Mannon bailed out Aisa Silva earlier today, came in the 3rd inning with only 1 out, 2 runners on. Now can Aisa Silva return the favor to record the final 3 outs and preserve a 1-run lead to send the Cats to the regional final. Kramer cuts right through, 0-2.
And I love the decision to put Aisa Silva back in. The sophomore, still young, but for Brooke Mannon, gotta be some nerves there. There's a small leash there, especially with how Rylan Hedgecock turned around that ball.
3 hits on the weekend now for Hedgecock, who had a down year after an All-American season a year ago, but she has been clutch in the first 2 days of the regional. Kramer drives it to right field, but right on it is Altmaier.
The Razorback bats are alive here in the bottom of the 7th. Goes down the box score as a flyout, but that was a solid swing by Reagan Kramer. And even if this does not go Arkansas's way, this is a double elimination tournament. And so there's a chance that these 2 teams match up again tomorrow, no matter who wins or loses. And that is a good sign.
Cloud cold off the bench, hacks right through the first pitch.
And of course the Hedgecock home run cuts the deficit in half, but what it also does, it enables the top of this lineup to see the plate. Reagan Johnson has been the spark plug.
1 ball and 2 strikes now to Cloud. Cloud fouls it straight back. We'll do the 1-2 over again.
Yeah, right now that movement up in the zone has been devastating for Cloud. They're fouling that pitch off, starting to find her timing. First 2 swings out of her shoes. Look for her to shorten up and battle here in this situation.
Another foul ball.
And as Riley Cloud continues to get her timing, look for Arizona to pull the string with a changeup out of the zone. Something that Cloud has not seen yet from Aisa Silva here with her first at-bat on the day.
Cloud swings and misses. 2 down in the inning.
Aisa Silva with what we call gas. Arm side was actually trying to go in, but when you got good stuff and you got good velocity, good things happen. Aisa Silva with her biggest K of the day. 2 outs here, bottom of the 7th.
You said it though, Rain. The top of the order will have its chance.
And the outfield for Arizona playing middle depth. If I'm them, I'm playing back and I'm preventing the double, but they have the spray charts.
Johnson lifts it left field. Here's Kennedy. Arizona is into the regional final tomorrow.
technical difficulties, but we'll keep an eye on that. But either way, we're in a big spot in this game. 2-1 count to Dakota Kennedy.
And nobody out with a runner in scoring position. Arizona trying to add on to a 2-run lead. Kennedy bunts it foul. She's got 2 strikes against her now.
And when you look at the speed up and down this Arizona lineup and you see how many sack bunts they have, it's actually not that many. I mean, sack bunt percentage is 60th in the field out of 64 teams, but when they do put that ball down, man, they can use the wheels.
Chopped over towards first. Ellis takes care of this one easily this time. Does advance the runner up to third.
Yeah, and it goes down in the scorebook as a ground out, but you can see the Arizona dugout knowing how important that was. Whether you get the bunt down or not is a matter of, do you do your job? Dakota Kennedy rolls one over to the right side, does the job, gets the runner over to third with less than 2 outs.
And the entire infield is way in for Arkansas now against Reagan Shockey.
And when we talked to Reagan Shockey about her decision-making, whether to bunt, whether to chop slap, she said it's a group process. She talks to Caitlin Lowe. She talks to hitting coach Josh Bloomer. And so that decision has been made as she steps up to the plate.
She chops it to short. Preggy comes home to Miller, the tag. Not in time! Shockey takes off for second, and she's gunned down.
Yeah, this one's going to get reviewed. Courtney Deifel came out very quickly, and I think this has a chance, Noah, to be a double play, just based on in real time.